stack of treated lumber. These are 12-foot 1x4 yellow pine. That's what we have locally, and so that's what we're going with. And then we've got our setup over here with our saw. Now, our miter saw is set up, so my arm won't extend out far enough to cut one 6-foot, because the majority of our shutters are going to be 6 foot long. So I've set it up next to the house so that when I push that board over, it's going to be 6 foot, so I don't have to keep remeasuring. And I know that works because I've already got 4 set up over here on my saw horses. Now you say, well, I don't have a miter saw. Then use a circular saw. It's really not rocket science. Just grab you one of these. They're inexpensive. You probably have one already. Mark your boards and cut them. It's going to take a little longer, but you know what? It works. Now, when we're done assembling these things, we're going to paint them. Let me show you how we've got it set up, because, hey, you might want to do it too. So when I take the wood over here to my miter saw, cut it, and then after I get them cut, I'm taking them to the saw horses. Where there, I will assemble them. Once I get them assembled, I'm going to move them over here. Now, I've got furring strips out here. They're really inexpensive. You can get them at your local hardware store. And that way, I can set them starting down there, work my way this way, get them up off the ground, and when I go to paint, I can just go like that rather than going back and forth. So more efficient. And you say, well, I'll use cardboard. Great. I got spare wood, whatever. You know, I got 16 saw horses, then do that. Either way, whatever works. This is just an inexpensive way to get it off the ground and keep it all together so that you can paint it all in one whack. I've got 2 days of beautiful weather, so I'm not worried about rain. So let's go. So I got all my boards cut. I got different stacks. I mean, you can see different stacks going on here. Different lengths. Most of them are 6 foot, but there's some shorter windows, like bathroom windows, things like that, that I have to fool with. But here I've got a stack over here already. And because I'm doing so many, I've kind of done a few things here that I find it helpful so that I don't have to keep reaching for the measuring tape. I created some spacers. And basically, all right, so here's that one, and then here's another one, and I got an X on it so that I don't screw it up. Put it on one, but cut these boards to go across. These for me are 14.5 inches because that's 4 boards wide. And then I've taken this and made it just so that I can put it on here flush with the end, and that way I know where my first board goes, so I don't have to pull out the tape measure every time. I've got a board, it's ready to go. Once I get that set, then this board goes in just like that, which is an old scrap piece of wood, and that one over there. So that tells me that this is the center of that. And then I've got one on the other side, and I did it just like this down here. Now I'm using a drill bit, depending on what type of screws you go with. I have got 1.25 inches by 8. I'd love to have a smaller, like a 6, but that's as small as I can get. And so 1.25 inches it is by 8. So I'm using that because sometimes this lumber, especially on these edges, will want to crack, and I don't want that to happen for sure. Now that I've got this one built, I'm going to move on to the rest and start stacking them down through here and getting them ready to paint. But I've still got a lot of assembly to go, as all these piles have got to be assembled, and all of my short pieces are under here ready to go, 60 of them. All right, let me show you what we got. There they are, all lined up, ready to paint. This guy's gonna paint them all, right? Here we go, you ready? So we are using our local Ace Hardware Royal exterior paint and primer. And it's this blue, which is actually called Hampton Blue. I'll tell you why that's cool. That's cool because we live in
Hampton.
And we're using Hampton Blue. All right, here's where we are. We've had a new roof, new siding. We put that on, and we still have to address this door. We're going to soon, but we're focused on the shutters right now, so let's get those hung. All right, here is the front of the house. That color, that is, again, Hampton Blue. We really like it, so we're kind of going for a coastal feel because we're not far from the coast. We added these flower boxes, planters, whatever you want to call them, right there because shutters were going to be a little difficult because of that space, and so we thought this would be nice to do instead of that. So we're not ready to plant anything. We still have the front door to go and that porch and a few other things out here in landscaping, but this definitely gets us started. And we added them back here as well. I know a lot of folks don't normally add shutters to the back of the house, but since we did it ourselves and we're able to save a lot of money, then why not do that? So overall, we have $50 per set in this. This is treated lumber. That's paint, exterior paint, everything for $50 a set. And of course at Home Depot or Lowe's or about anywhere, we would have spent $200 plus for a set. So there you go. And for anybody that says, yeah, but you're not including your labor. Well, let's include labor. Let's say that that was the case. So I saved $150 a set. 10 sets here, so that's $1,500. So in a matter of basically a day, time you figure up the hours, about 8 to 10 hours in that range, I saved myself $1,500. That's my labor. I'll take that. Thanks for watching.